the national anthem of Mexico, followed by the national anthem of the United States.
It doesn't matter what level it's at. Whenever Mexico and the U.S. meet, sparks are expected to fly as the CONCACAF rivalry is renewed here on match day 2 of the 2015 U20 Women's NTC Invitational. And for these USA and Mexico squads, plenty of settles to score. For those players that were part of the last U20 cycle, it was the USA who came out 4-0 on top in the final of the CONCACAF Championships. At that point, both teams had made it through to the U20 World Cup, but it does not matter. You do not want to lose to your rivals. And for those who were a part of the last U17 cycle, it was Mexico who kept the USA from advancing to the U17 World Cup in Costa Rica last summer. So plenty of players are playing for plenty of different reasons, most of all to represent their country and to beat their favorite opponent. My name is Mark Serber. It's a pleasure to be with you here at U.S. Soccer and the U.S. Soccer YouTube page as Mexico coming off a 1-0 loss on match day 1 to Brazil, giving up a goal straight from a corner kick in the 52nd minute. For the U.S., they came off a 3-0 loss to Japan. But if there's one thing the U.S. is known for, especially at the U20 level, it's resiliency. The last time they lost 3-0, it was in the first group game of the 2012 U20 World Cup to Germany, and they went on to win that World Cup, beating none other than Germany in the final. So here we go for the next installment of the USA versus Mexico, this time at the U20 women's level. Mexico out on the field in their huddle, the USA on the sideline. Their entire team is in the huddle, where Mexico's 11 players already out on the field in theirs. And for this U.S. side, it is the same starting 11 that lost to Japan 3-0. So Michelle French keeping faith with her team. Michelle French always very positive and said You know what? The one thing we take away from this game is, holy cow, there is going to be a lot that we can learn from this game with Japan. And so we will certainly see lessons learned and implemented here tonight against the Mexico side that really should have beaten Brazil. They had the better of the chances, missed 2 breakaways, and missed plenty of shots from just outside the 18. If they can get some shots on, then it could be a long night for Casey Murphy. For Mexico, 3 changes made as Vasquez, Palacios, and Crowther are preferred to Martinez, Eva Gonzalez, and Belen Cruz. So continuity pretty much for both sides. As we were just waiting for Samantha Moose to get this game underway, the center referee, she will be assisted by Melissa Gonzalez, the assistant referee on the near side, Jennifer Politz, the assistant referee number 2 on the far side, and Karen Apt will have to deal with Roberta Medina and Michelle French. Asked the 2 coaches about the rivalry, and Michelle French said, first and foremost, we have to match Mexico physically and earn the right to play with them. That's the kind of respect that these 2 nations have for each other. Well, Roberto Medina, he said that, well, the rivalry is always in effect. The one thing that we really have to worry about is building a program that is similar to the U.S.'s as quickly as possible, because the U.S. players have a set path through their national teams, and we have a little bit of a disconnect. But right now it's Mexico on the attack, and they have a chance via the set piece as a free kick from a heavy collision early on. And it's going to be Rebecca Bernal to take. This one's primed to be hit, but from this distance it can also be floated into the box. Casey Murphy 2 steps. Everybody else queued up across the top of the 18. Murphy goes for the shot, and it was Jordan Haar who got her head onto it. So it goes out for the first corner kick of the game for Mexico. So inside the first minute, Mexico have already had a free kick and now a corner kick. It's going to be an in-swinger from the far side. And Casey Murphy will watch this one go over a crossbar and out of bounds. Nothing to concern the U.S. in the end. But it's Mexico inside the first minute with the first attack of the game. Mexico in their famous green jerseys with red and white trim. El Tricolor is attacking from right to left across your screen. The Stars and Stripes in all white, they're red, white, and blue trim, and they are attacking from left to right as Murphy's goal kick. Canales with the header. Bit of head tennis in midfield, finally bought down. Rasiopi's chasing. And Flores will try and get it out wide, but it's won back by Michaela Harvey. The Texas A&M midfielder applying good pressure and winning the throw-in on the far side off of Jaslyn Rodriguez. So what can the U.S. conjure up with their first attack of the evening? A good job to get to the byline. Shouts for a handball, and the referee obliges. It'll be a free kick for the U.S. And Mexico's going to have to play this one like a corner, but the first genuine opportunities for both teams coming from set pieces. It's Ogle, the holding midfielder, over the ball. Big Ten freshman of the year out of Penn State. She's going to look to curl this into a very crowded penalty box. 8 U.S. players looking to get on the end of this. Pugh coming in short. It's played in toward the near post, and a foul is called. And in fact, they're going to have him do it again. So take 2. Played in the near post. Staying on her line is the keeper, but able to head it away is Vanessa Flores. Only as far as Pugh. And Pugh does a great job to track back and win the ball. Gives it off to Elliston, who will give it all the way back to Murphy. Courtney Jacobs, despite the 3-0 defeat, was tremendous in the center of defense for the U.S. Jacobs earning her 5th cap tonight, plays with Slammers FC, as this is a very young U.S. side. Just 7 players are born in the cutoff year of 96. Pugh keeps it well. Harvey, unable to ride the challenge. But there to take care of it is Ogle. And the USA will recycle their runs. 4th minute, and both teams have had set-piece opportunities, but nothing has come of it. As we're scoreless here, Glen Mooch Marinick Field on match day 2 of the 2015 U20 Women's NTC Invitational. Both teams looking for their first wins after losses on match day 1. And in the first match earlier today, it was Japan overpowering CONMEBOL powerhouses Brazil 4-0. So Japan already has 6 points with 7 goals for and no goals against. And for Mexico in their final game, it'll be a chance for revenge, as it was Japan who knocked them out of the last U17 World Cup, 2-0 in the quarterfinals. As that's a great run and a beautiful touch from Elliston. Elliston leaves it off for Canales, who can't get past the double team of Nancy Antonio and Monica Flores. And there's another storyline for you. Monica Flores, the twin sister, playing outside back for Mexico, of twin sister Sabrina Flores, who's playing outside back for the U.S. The 19-year-olds play their college ball at Notre Dame together, but play for different countries. So the ball's over the head of Sabrina Flores, but over and cover is real. Ogle checks in. Bit of a heavy touch from Real, but she's able to rescue the situation, and this is Michaela Harvey. Over the top for Rasiopi. Good strength from Rasiopi to turn away from Vanessa Flores. To the far side for Canales. Has Elliston in support. Ogle. Harvey. And the double team from Jacqueline Rodriguez as she helps to win the ball back. And Mexico looking to play direct in the early going, but the U.S. is wise to it. And good play between the two Penn State players. Elliston making the Big Ten freshman team. Michaela Harvey has the captain, Nancy Antonio, all over her. And the member of the last U20 World Cup for Mexico had won the ball back, but the USA take it right away. Monica Flores brings it down. Flores plays it into the channel. And good job coming over and cover from Courtney Jacobs. Orejel will take the throw-in. Looking for Kiana Palacios, seeing her first action of the tournament. Palacios will be a sophomore at UC Irvine this coming fall. Orejel. Mistouch from her allows Pugh to win it back. Orejel stood up Pugh, tries to get to the byline, hits it off Elliston, and wins the second corner kick of the game for La Tri. Rebecca Bernal making her way up from her center back position. It's Mexico looking to start their runs from deep. Instead, it's played to the near post, looking for the flick on. And Pugh clears it and gets the foul. Much to the chagrin of Roberto Medina. Didn't think there was anything in it. But Samantha Moose, the referee, gives the U.S. a get-out-of-jail-free card. Casey Murphy to take the free kick in the 9th minute. Sonia Vasquez wins the first header and the second one. Puts it into an awkward position. Can the U.S. take advantage? Played over the top. It was Jordan Har who had a chance to make Mexico pay as Sonia Vasquez played it right into her path. Not sure what she was thinking heading it backwards in that area. But Jordan Har, who already has a goal for the U.S., put this one over. Har's goal coming in the 2-0 win over Holland in the La Manga Spain tournament, where the U.S. went 3-0, winning every single match by a scoreline that many like to hear, especially when Mexico's concerned, 2-0. Beating the likes of Norway in their first game, Holland in the second, and then Sweden in the third. Looking to get back to winning ways here tonight, the U.S. Harvey. Canales gave it off to Elliston. And Jacobs will swing it over to Real on the far side. Sabrina Flores has shaped out wide if Real wants to find her, and she does. But good pressure from the Mexicans forced the ball all the way back to Casey Murphy. Murphy made 3 saves on 6 shots faced against Japan. Not really much she could do on some gorgeously crafted goals by the Japanese. Jacobs played it right into the middle for Sonia Vasquez to overtake for Mexico. Roberta Medina screaming at Jacqueline Rodriguez to play it forward quicker, as Medina is looking for a team that's very direct. Says he wants to keep possession when it's appropriate. For the most part, though, he wants to get forward as quickly as possible, and he does not like his players lollygagging on the ball. Monica Flores getting forward. Elliston policing her. Canales joins over in the double team, and Jacobs stepped in well. Michelle French said the biggest things that she took away from the game against Japan is she wants her team to make better decisions, especially in transitions, and when they have the ball, to get numbers around it so that there's enough support play where they can keep possession. And they're doing a bit of a better job of it tonight, but they give the ball away a bit cheaply there, as Mexico will have a throw-in on the far side. Stepping in is Jordan Har, but it goes off of her last, so Mexico will creep up that line via the throw. Har earning her 4th cap, plays her club ball with the Dallas Sting. And another ill-advised back pass, but Vanessa Flores deals with it well, gets it forward, and a foul's going to be called in midfield. As right as Vanessa Flores played that, a player came flying in with a high boot. And it plays right into Roberto Medina's direct style as they can pump this one into the mix. Instead, it goes short to Rebecca Bernal, and she'll float it in. Bernal played in both the U17 and the U20 World Cup for Mexico last summer, still just 17 years old. And she's marshaling a back line that also has a very strong Vanessa Flores on it. Lovely switch from Michaela Harvey. And Elliston does well to step inside. The center back has ventured forward here. And she'll be whistled for a foul. Trying to play it quickly, but a great job by Canales to read that and step in. This is another thing French has worked on with her team, is seeing when do they close down or when do they move back, and it all depends on that first defender. If the first defender goes, then they have to pinch in to not allow the ball over the top. If the defender doesn't get there in time, then they have to sit back to make sure that that ball doesn't get over the top. But they're on the attack here. Pugh looking for Asiopi, and it's cleared away by Mexico just in time. Mexico win the ball on the far side. Trying to get it forward for Evelyn Gonzalez. But the U.S. able to win it back, and will get it back to their keeper, Casey Murphy. Murphy had 2 shutouts at the La Manga tournament. Getting the start once again over Samantha Leeshank, as winning the free kick is Evelyn Gonzalez. The 18-year-old from Monterey wins it just outside the center circle. And so will Bernal play this short? She has Orejel out wide, and Orejel says no, as Mallory Canales was wise to it. And now Bernal backs up. Looks to Medina for instructions, and the idea was to try and shoot it because she saw Casey Murphy off her line. Medina said have a go, and she did, but not enough power behind it. Elliston. The outside back gets it into Canales. Canales wanted Taylor Rasiopi to check in. Instead, she has to go back with it. Murphy over to Flores. This is Ogle. Looking for a Nittany Lion teammate who's unable to keep it in. As that ball was floated just over her head, and it'll be a throw in for Mexico. Orejel, who plays her club ball right here with the SoCal Blues, will play at Colorado next season for the Buffaloes. Orejel didn't play in the last U17 World Cup, but the 18-year-old did play in the 2012 U17 World Cup. Sonia Vasquez. Michaela Harvey steps in front of Nancy Antonio, and the break could be on here for the U.S., and that ball was played a bit too far away from Rasiopi. Had it been played closer to her at more of an angle, Rasiopi would have been through. Instead, the center back was able to recover. Good job by Bernal to get her angles right and read that ball. She knew exactly where it was going. It was close enough to her that she was able to get a foot in. And now Bernal swings it out wide to Orejel. Rasiopi applying the pressure, forcing Barreras to just pump it downfield. Ogle playing as that shield in front of the back four. And a great overlapping run from Sabrina Flores. Puts it across, diving header, just missed by Taylor Rasiopi. Mexico still trying to clear their lines. Canales steps in, and it allows Elliston to win the ball back in midfield. A lovely move and good interpassing between Ogle and Harvey. Gets the ball out wide. And this is Har. Har looking to get to the end line and just running out of real estate. And it'll be a goal kick for Stephanie Barreras and the Mexican U20 women's national team. (0-0) in the 18th minute on match day 2 of the 2015 U20 women's NTC Invitational. Both Mexico and the USA looking for their first wins of the tournament. And it's a game that's been evenly balanced so far. Although Michelle French will be happy with the high pressure her U.S. team is applying as Ogle wins that ball back in midfield. And her and Harvey are doing a good job to interchange positions. As Ogle went forward, Harvey dropped back into her spot. Whoever sits as that shield in front of the back four, their job is not only to protect the back four, but also to start the transition from defense to attack. As Canales wins a free kick. Marley Canales, one of the 4 players born in 1997, just 18 years of age. As Pew lets that ball go through as she came back from an offside position. Here's a Stephanie Barreras, who plays her club ball in Arizona with Sereno FC. Also plays in the W League with the Arizona Strikers. And the long ball searching for Jacqueline Crowther on the far side. Crowther had a goal in last year's U17 World Cup in Costa Rica against Colombia. Temecula native plays her club ball for Legends FC. Crowther, one of the younger players on this Mexican squad at just 17 years old. Monica Flores gets it back to the captain. And stepping in front of her shot was Ogle. Real. Ogle helped it on. Harvey's chasing. Steps in and didn't win the ball, but did enough to help get it off of the captain, Nancy Antonio. And now this is Pugh's favorite thing to do, is to run with the ball in space. But she's dispossessed. Got by one, got by two, but could not get by the third defender. Pugh. Twisting and turning Pugh, looking for the best option. Ogle. Pugh unable to get by Vasquez. Wins it right back, Mallory Pugh. Ogle. Headed by Orejel, right back to Ogle, but a great job by Evelyn Gonzalez to come back and pick Ogle's pocket. Pugh steals it from Vasquez. Ogle has to be careful as Palacios was chasing. Good communication from the U.S. as they yelled the woman on, and she played it out to Pugh, but then Pugh lost the handle. Couple of step overs from Nancy Antonio, wearing the captain's armband for the second game in a row. 19-year-old played in the last U20 World Cup for Mexico, where they did not get out of their group, tied England 1-1, tied Nigeria 1-1, but then on the final day, when they still had a chance to go through, they lost 2-1 to South Korea. Har loses it to Vasquez. Nice spin away from pressure from Antonio. Orejel. And good job to come over and support from Courtney Jacobs, and a lovely touch on from Harvey. Ogle. Har is checked into the center. Ogle once again. Had Elliston, but instead played it back to Jacobs. Now Jacobs gets it out to Elliston. Checking in is Rasiopi. And good strength by Rasiopi to keep the ball and fight her way out of traffic. Orejel with the header. Pugh has time to bring it down. Good one-touch ball into Harvey from Elliston. Ogle plays the wall pass with Harvey. Got it out wide to Har. Har gets it to Flores. Nice little touch to get by the first defender. Trying to cut inside the second. Good defending by Jacqueline Rodriguez on the far side. And Harvey wins it back for the U.S. Elliston venturing forward, once again the outside back. Ogle checking in was Rasiopi, the audacious flick looking for Pugh. But Mexico read their angles. And now a chance for Mexico. Excellent job by Real stepping in. And good job checking in from her midfield position by Mallory Canales. Harvey. Ogle. Looking to pull the strings in midfield, Ogle. That time, though, ball was too easily telegraphed, and Rodriguez stepped in the lane. Crowther flying down the far flank. Has three players to find in the box. And good job getting back and defending by Sabrina Flores, but it's at the expense of a corner kick. The third of the game for Mexico. So another opportunity for Mexico via the set piece in the 24th minute. So far, neither side has really had chances of note. Nothing to really worry either keeper. But this is a good ball in. Murphy's up. And it's too close to her. And in the end, it's catching practice for Casey Murphy. Elliston, Canales. Has Harvey checking in. Gonzalez ghosted inside of her. Good tracking back by Harvey to hassle Gonzalez. And strong defending once again by Mallory Canales. Not out of the woods yet, though. Cleared only as far as Bernal. Sidesteps Canales. And looking for that ball for the far post just over the head of Crowther. Excellent vision from Rebecca Bernal. And almost the perfect weight on the cross to match. So Mexico throwing on the far side. In the 26th minute of play, it's Jacqueline Rodriguez to take. And the U.S. able to clear their lines. Only as far as Bernal, who will swing it to this near side for Orejel. Flores wants it at her feet. Orejel obliges. It's Flores against Elliston. Canales coming in on the double team. And it does enough to put her off as there was too much mustard on that pass into the channel looking for the run of Evelyn Gonzalez. And it will just be a goal kick for Casey Murphy. Murphy taking her time, pushing everyone up. As neither side has really yet to force the issue in this game. Pretty box-to-box, back-and-forth affair. But these rivalry matches often start out cautious and end with a bang. Jacqueline Rodriguez, the only other player on the field, along with Nancy Antonio for Mexico, who competed in last year's U20 World Cup for La Tri. And that ball putting Barreras in an uncomfortable situation, but she gets it into Antonio. Lovely turn, and she's off into space. Looking for Crowther on the far side, but rather played it right to Flores. Dispossessed by Crowther. Crowther looking to hit one, but right at Murphy. Was never going to get that one over the head of the 6-foot keeper when she was on her line. Canales, Elliston. Two of them have worked well on this near flank. And good high pressure from Mexico. Long ball looking for Pugh. Bernal wins it over her. But Harvey won the second ball. Didn't know where it was. And Pugh dispossesses Bernal. Ogle. Sabrina Flores. Playing on the opposite flank and the opposite team of her twin sister, Monica Flores. A Livingston, New Jersey household divided, and the U.S. have their second chance, and once again, it fell to the feet of Jordan Haar, but she was unable to make Mexico pay. Two mistakes by the Mexican defense. Twice the ball has fell to Haar in space, but Haar has been unable to put her efforts on frame. Barreras. And Barreras again, as both of these keepers have seen a lot of the ball at their feet in this going. Well stepped in by Canales. What can Pugh do here? Pugh walking along top of the box, looking to pick out the far corner, but the shot was always rising. Three good opportunities for the U.S. inside the first 30 minutes. Two of them fell to the feet of Jordan Haar, and this one to Pugh, and Pugh was just looking for that half yard of space. Found it, but couldn't wrap her foot around the ball to keep it down. And even though it was heading toward its intended target, because her foot wasn't wrapped all the way around the ball. That's why the shot was always rising. Murphy to restart the attack for the U.S. in the 29th minute. Long ball looking for Pugh. Bernal wins the aerial battle, but it falls kindly for Canales. Inside for Ogle. Harvey was trying to slide it through for Pugh. Sonia Vasquez getting her first start of the tournament, gets it out wide to Crowther. Crowther eating up ground, plays it to the top of the box. Palacios back out wide for Crowther. Crowther gets it onto the right foot. Good cross in. Courtney Jacobs was on the scene. The clearance right at Orejel. Flores. Antonio. And Canales did well. Great recovery from Canales and a good job to step into the passing lane. And now something might be on for the U.S. on the far side. It's Pugh, electrifying in full flight, looking to get around Flores. Pugh gets around Flores, but can't get the cross off. Ogle was on the doorstep, but Pugh just didn't get the proper contact on her cross. And it's Palacios working against Real on the far side. And Real wins the battle. Jacobs inside for Sabrina Flores. Checking back is Har, but the ball looking back for Flores was played with a bit too much venom, and it goes out for a Mexico throw-in. Crowther. And safety first from Harvey. Past the half-hour mark at Glenn Mooch Marinick Field, 0-0 between the U.S. Under-20s and Mexico. Mexico on the attack with a throw-in deep in U.S. territory. Both teams looking for their first win of the tournament after losing on match day 1. That one over the head of Harvey. Nancy Antonio will retake for Mexico. Orejel. Canales flying in to try and close her down, but it's a bit too late, and Orejel plays the 1-2 with Flores. Back to Antonio. Pulling the strings in midfield, the captain. Bernal is now Mexico just looking to keep possession. Vanessa Flores quickly closed down by Pugh, and Pugh got a piece of it, but it fell kindly for Sonia Vasquez. Bernal. You can see something the U.S. have learned from the Japan game. They're constantly checking their shoulders, constantly aware of where their defensive partners are and how their shape is. Their awareness has been much better in this game, and you can see that by the subdued Mexican attack that at this point of the game against Brazil already had 2 breakaways and 3 shots from just outside the 18. Real. Battling with Palacios. And the U.S. are able to pass their way out of traffic. Long ball looking for Pugh. This time wins the head over Vanessa Flores. And then Jacqueline Rodriguez barged into the back of Pugh. And it'll be a free kick for the U.S. in midfield. Ogle's open in the center of the field if they want to play it short. Sabrina Flores taking her time and setting this one up. And now she lofts it toward the top of the box where Rasiopi's waiting. And she flicked it on, but Harvey couldn't get there in time as Barreras is quickly off her line. And now the U.S. with a real chance to close them down. Not the best distribution from Barreras. Rasiopi goes sliding in, and it's enough to cause trouble. And Barreras could have picked up that ball, elected to play it with her feet, and now Mexico's still in trouble. Great high pressure from the U.S., but not the best decision-making from the Mexicans in the back. Almost a killer combination, but it remains 0-0 as the U.S. win it back through a combination of Ogle and Canales. Now it's Mexico's turn to overtake. Nancy Antonio, almost never knocked off the ball. Nancy Antonio. Nice little touch from Evelyn Gonzalez for Palacios. Kiana Palacios to the far side for Crowther. Flores did just enough to slow Crowther down. And Crowther trying to play it across. She had time to settle it and wait for the run of Evelyn Gonzalez, but in the end played it too quickly, and Casey Murphy will pick it up at the top of her box. Pugh flicks it on, but nobody making the diagonal run in behind her. Mallory Pugh still just 17 years old, but already earning her 13th cap for the U20s, where she already has 4 goals. 2 of them came in that 2-0 win over Norway at the La Manga tournament. Jacobs. Ogle. Monica Flores applying the pressure on Elliston. Good job by Flores to hassle and Harry, but Jacobs comes in and clears it only as far as Antonio. Antonio wanted to get it to the far side. In the end, plays it to Vasquez. Bit of a heavy touch, and you can see what one poor touch does. But Mexico able to win it back and regain possession as Canales was down behind the play. Now she's up. And the cross takes a deflection, and Murphy will get there before it goes out of bounds. And Canales, a tough customer, will look to be walking it off while Canales puts the ball at her feet. But getting back to what I was saying was the heavy touch from Vasquez, and that's what caused all the chaos, as it put Nancy Antonio into a 50-50 situation. She was able to win the ball and keep it for Mexico, but sometimes they won't be so lucky. As that's a wonderful challenge from Ogle. She's put Har in. Will it be third time lucky for Har? Leaves it back for Pugh. The goalie's off her line, and Pugh can't put it into the net. Best chance of the game, and what a wonderful play by Har. She bought Barreras off her line, took her out of the equation, and played it back to Pugh, and Pugh uncharacteristically couldn't put it into what was essentially an empty net. And it remains 0-0. Mexico escape. Flicked on by Crowther, but Real's there in support. Go all the way back with it to Murphy. As the U.S. hit the reset button in the 37th minute. Evelyn Gonzalez dispossesses the U.S. player. Flicked on looking for Palacios, and safety first from Emily Ogle, who's all the way back defending. Both teams needing to tighten up their first touch just a little bit. As Mexico win their 4th corner kick of the game. And it's Monica Flores coming over to take. '19-year-old will have an in-swinger from the far side. All but 3 Mexican players are camped out in the box waiting to get on the end of this. As the referee wasn't happy with the handbags between Harvey and Vanessa Flores. Vanessa Flores has the inside route. Staying on her line is Murphy, and lucky to watch the shot go over the goal from Bernal. Well, the chance fell to Palacios. Either way, the U.S. are lucky to escape. Nervous moments for both teams inside the last 2 minutes, and somehow it's still 0-0 in the 39th minute of play. Lovely first touch on the turn from Canales. Elliston has gotten forward again. And Pugh wanted it on the inside, and Elliston played it into the outside channel. Great job by Hart to step inside. Elliston. Ogle. Pugh wants it at the top of the box. Instead, they were looking for that channel again, and it was closed off by Rebecca Bernal. Out wide to Monica Flores. Notre Dame midfielder plays it over the top, and Palacios could be away here. Her touch has taken her a bit out wide, and it allows Jacobs to get the angle and get back. And a great job to not only get the block in, but to get it out for a throw-in rather than a corner kick. And one thing Roberto Medina said about his side before the tournament is that our technique is not up to international standards, and you can see it a little bit. Certain touches taking them either away from goal or causing them some discomfort in midfield. Had that first touch been inside by Palacios rather than out wide, it would have been an opportunity for her to go in one-on-one against Casey Murphy. Instead, it opened up the angle for Natalie Jacobs to get back. Free kick on the offside. Good shielding from Canales, and it's Nancy Antonio's whistled for the foul. Free quickly taken. Bernal. Pugh closes her down. Jacqueline Rodriguez, member of last summer's U20 World Cup team for Mexico, gets it up for Crowther. And Sabrina Flores dispossesses her. U.S. looking to spring an attack in the 42nd minute. Ogle. Natalie Jacobs. Harvey checks in. Turns away from the attention of Vasquez. And Elliston getting forward once again. Canales can't find her. Good step by Orejel. And Orejel will give it back to Vanessa Flores. Jacqueline Rodriguez. And Gonzalez didn't make the run in time. And Real will give it back to Murphy. Inside the final 3 minutes of the first 45. Can't imagine more than 1 or 2 minutes of stoppage time would be added. As Antonio pirouettes away from her defender. Ends up with Flores in the end. Pugh harrying Orejel, forces her to go back with it. And Bernal gets it across. Vanessa forward. Flings it forward. Michaela Harvey. Ogle has done a good job not only being the link between the defense and the attack, but also realizing when to just go back with it and keep possession for the U.S. Pugh wants the ball right down the middle. Harvey obliges. Pugh's in, but she can't get her shot directed on goal. It was a good job by Bernal to force her out wide, and Pugh couldn't hit the target. But a lovely weighted pass from Harvey right into the path of Pugh. Bernaldo had good position on her. So Pugh has almost gotten away on a couple of occasions. Yet it remains 0-0 in the 44th minute of play. Canales heads it right to Orejel. Natalie Jacobs stepping up from her center back position. Little touch off for Canales. Harvey. Rassiopi flicks it through for Pugh. Pugh's onside, rounds the keeper, and puts in the opening goal. Gorgeous move from the U.S. And Pugh has scored right on the stroke of halftime. What an audacious flick from Taylor Rassiopi. Right into the path of Pugh. But it all started with Canales winning that ball back. And then the quick ball in from Ogle for Rassiopi. And Rassiopi knew exactly where Pugh was going to be running. Put it into her path. And Pugh, that's what we expect from her. She gets her 5th goal at the U20 level. And the U.S. have a 1-0 lead as we have hit the 45-minute mark here. Still waiting to see how much stoppage time is going to be added. A look at the watch from the referee is it's going to be a free kick for Mexico. Last chance for the Mexicans to see if they can get level before the teams go into the locker rooms. Floated to the top of the box. First ball in from Antonio and cleared away from the U.S., and that will do it. The USA looked to be locked in a stalemate right until what was virtually one of the last plays of the first half when they won it in midfield through Canales. A quick ball played through and a beautiful Cruyff flick from Taylor Rassiopi into the path of Mallory Pugh, who got behind Rebecca Pernal, rounded as Stephanie Barreras, and put the ball into an empty net. And at halftime, it's the USA U20 Women's National Team 1, the Mexico U20 Women's National Team 0. We're going to take a break here on U.S. Soccer and the U.S. Soccer YouTube channel, but stay with us as we'll come back in 14 minutes to set up the second half and bring you the final 45 minutes of Match Day 2 from the 2015 U20 Women's NTC Invitational. from the center of midfield all the way through to Mallory Pugh, putting it into the net for her 5th goal at the U20 level. And the U.S. have a 1-0 lead to start this second half. And this is the goal scorer on the ball. And Sanchez earning her 2nd cap at the U20 level is chasing. A hat trick the last time she played Mexico at the U17 level in a 3-1 win at the 2015 U17 NTC Invitational tournament, in which the USA won back in February, beating Japan 2-1 on the final day of group play to go 3-0 and put Japan's record at 2-1. Head coach Michelle French saying of the youngest player on the team, Sanchez, who's on the ball right now, that she brings a real spark and uniqueness to the field, and you can see that right now as the ball is in. The offside flag is up. Well, the cross left a lot to be desired, but it didn't matter anyways as the flag was up. For the first time in the entire tournament, the U.S. is offsides. Good run, though, by the substitute, Courtney Peterson. Getting around Jordan Haran to the end line. Went just a bit too early. Orechel advancing down the far side. Plays the long ball in, flicked on by Palacios. And couldn't control it as it came back to her. But Mexico keep possession in midfield. Sonia Vasquez. Another weak pass from Vasquez, almost putting Mexico under duress, but they're able to get out of it. However, they have to start over through their goalkeeper, Mexico. And Barreras looking for her best option. It's short for Vanessa Flores. Flores looking for Gonzalez. Flicks it on to Rodriguez. Rodriguez in a very advanced position. Got around Natalie Jacobs, but couldn't get around Riel. Rodriguez in for Crowther. Crowther working against the double team, and it went off the U.S. last. 5th corner kick of the game for Mexico, their first of the second half. This will be an in-swinger from the near side. Rodriguez is sprinting in to get it short. Rodriguez receives the return ball. Off for Vasquez. Vasquez can hit him from here. That's exactly what she looks to do, but in the end, it's catching practice for Casey Murphy. Murphy. Natalie Jacobs on the far side. Ball falls kindly for Pugh. Turns and has ground to eat up. Courtney Peterson making run on this near side. Instead, the ball goes to the far. Pugh gets it right back. Now Ogle checking in, but instead it goes back. Great turn from Savannah de Melo. Pugh again. Ogle. Gets it out wide. Cutting in and looking for the far corner, but unable to find it. Sabrina Flores, good work from her. And now the U.S. playing in a very traditional 4-4-2. Rasiopi chasing. And she forces the long ball that Jacobs gets to first. Stabs it away. Oh, and Pugh slipped at the vital moment. And allows Nancy Antonio to take over. Har was well stationed, but it gets just over her head, and Crowther now takes the inside route. Looking to shoot Crowther. Hint of a handball, perhaps. Medina has his hands up, jumping up and down in frustration. But play goes on. Antonio did well to sort her feet out. And that ball held up as it was a good ball into the channel, but it took an awkward bounce before Palacios could get to it. And it allows the U.S. to clear. Now Medina looks like he might get a card, or at least a stern talking to from the referee. And that's what it is from Samantha Moss saying, calm down, or the next time you will get a card. The fourth official over in the technical area as well is Karen Apt telling Medina can't give that kind of language to the refs. Medina still going crazy in his technical box. And pressure from Crowther, but Sanchez tries to help it on. Hit off of Vasquez and falls kindly for Har. She gets it to Sanchez, the 16-year-old, fighting two Mexican defenders, and somehow keeps it in. Tremendous work from the youngest player on the U.S. roster. Sanchez just can't catch up to it in time, but she wins the throw-in for the U.S. There's that spark that Michelle French was talking about. Peterson's throwing. And the Michigan Hawks defender will take another one. Sanchez checks in. Or Har rather, turns. And this time, handball could have been called on Mexico, but it goes unnoticed by the referee. Crowther. Good double team from Har and Peterson. And it forces the clearance out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in for the U.S. Real. Dispossessed. And off to the races is Palacios. And a weak shot. Not sure whether that was meant to be a cross or a shot. But Medina is absolutely furious with Palacios. And once again, her first touch there needs to be inside. Did a great job to pinch that one off of Real, but then didn't finish off the play, Palacios. Ogle. Perfectly weighted ball down the line. And it'll be a throw-in for the U.S. in the 54th minute. Leading 1-0 on a 45th minute goal from Mallory Pugh, off on a beautiful flick from Taylor Rasiopi. Two of them have been playing together for a long time at every level for the U.S., and it showed on that goal. Telepathic understanding that when that ball came to Rasiopi, Pugh was going to make a diagonal run in behind her. And just look at that skill from Ashley Sanchez. Pugh tried to play it back to her. Awkward bounce, eludes Peterson. Palacios brings it down. Hart comes in on the double team and takes it off of her, but at the expense of a throw-in. Jacqueline Rodriguez directing her options. And the second ball is won by Sanchez. Rasiopi tried to slip it in for Sanchez, but Sanchez didn't make the run. Good idea, though, from Rasiopi. And Natalie Jacobs will be called for a barge in the back. So free kick for Mexico's Jacqueline Rodriguez makes her way forward. She'll join the party at the top of the box. And that's a good ball floated in. Crowther's up, gets the first header, but it falls kindly into the arms of Casey Murphy with nobody running across the face of her. Murphy taking her time. Mexico doing a great job to close down. And Hart doing an excellent job to step inside of Rodriguez, but she gets the position back and wins the ball. Real. Rasiopi running at the back line. Looking to go at it alone, Rasiopi trying to bulldoze her way through. And then smartly turns it back and gets it off for Har. Har with the cross. Oh, that's a great first touch from Pugh, and the second one. Almost her second goal of the game, but Barreras got down well. And Sanchez chasing, forces that ball. Rather got caught under the feet of Ogle. Evelyn Gonzalez muscles her off of it. Hard sliding challenge, but a clean one, says the referee. And Pugh is off and running. This time trying to return the favor to Rasiopi, but it's cleared away just in time by Mexico. Ogle. Needlessly given right back to the Mexicans. Long ball looking forward. And Real gets there before Palacios. Deft touch from Antonio to get that one around Pugh. And trying to play it into the lane, but well stationed was Peterson. Now Peterson continuing to run forward, is screaming for it. Ogle picks her out. Still going as Peterson, but Flores gets there first. Gives it right to Sanchez. Now Sanchez cuts inside. Still going Sanchez, but Crowther poked the ball away from her. Right to Pugh, but Pugh couldn't pick out the far corner. Peterson making some buccaneering runs up this near side. It's caused trouble for the Mexicans. She's combining well with Har and Sanchez. Vanessa Flores. Texas native who plays for Albion Hurricanes. Will play her college ball at West Virginia University in the fall. As Real wins it back before Palacios could get to it. And the reason Mexico is popping so many balls up into the midfield is because of the pressure being applied by the U.S. Not only the first runner, but the second player cutting off the easy ball, forcing the long ball from Mexico and allowing the U.S. to win it back in midfield. And that's why they have a bit of a handle on this game in the 59th minute. Leading 1-0 from that 45th minute strike from Mallory Pugh. Peterson into the channel for Pugh. Pugh gets behind her lady. Still going Pugh. Puts it back across the danger area. Well-positioned defense. And then Pugh, even when she trapped that ball, she knew she was offsides. She trapped that ball and stopped right away like a deer caught in the headlights. But great running from Pugh and a great job by the likes of Peterson, Har, and Sanchez to pick out her runs. What makes Pugh so dangerous is she sits deep in that free roll and then makes those delayed runs. She waits for the defenders to turn their shoulders away and then makes the run behind those turned shoulders. And that's why Pugh can be so elusive at times. And that's exactly what happened on that goal. But none of it would have happened if Rasiopi hadn't read the run of Pugh. Peterson, the halftime sub, takes the throw. Looking for another sub in Ashley Sanchez. She has it pinched off of her, but it's won back by Ogle in midfield. Flores taking the inside route. Rasiopi turns beautifully. Excellent job by Bernal to keep her under reps. as the U.S. will make substitutions 4 and 5 of their 6. Getting set to check in are Parker Roberts. And we'll get back to those subs in a second, as something could be on here for Mexico. Palacios unable to get by Real as her and Courtney Roberts conspire to win the ball back, and then Murphy under pressure just makes sure to clear it to safety. So it's going to be Parker Roberts and Hannah Kerner coming on to get her first cap at the U20 level. So Taylor Racioppi's night is done on the hour mark. And coming in for her is Hannah Kerner, and a special moment for the Upper Saddle River, New Jersey native. The 18-year-old getting her first cap at the U20 level. And Parker Roberts will come in for Emily Ogle, who did an excellent job as the destroyer, and then also that link in transition between the defense and the midfield. So 2 very solid shifts, both from Ogle and Racioppi, who leaves the game with an assist. And it's because of Racioppi that the U.S. are up 1-0 on the hour mark. Vasquez, twisting, turning, spinning. Still can't escape the attention of Pugh and has to go back with it. Long ball looking forward. And the U.S. repel it once again. Kerner with her first touch as a U20 international. And it's a good one, too, and almost got it into the channel for the overlapping run. And then DeMelo came flying in, and she'll be whistled for the foul. Barreras all the way out of her goal to take it. And she's going to play it backwards. And now the U.S. has a chance to get up and pressure. Har arriving. And she doesn't get there, but she does just enough to put Rodriguez off and win the throw-in for the Stars and Stripes. Peterson played it over the head of Har, but couldn't get it over the head of Rodriguez, searching for Sanchez. Pugh lost the handle in midfield. Did a good job to get back, though, and slow things down just enough to quell the counterattack. And then the long ball forward sent right back in by Natalie Jacobs. The U.S. packs to win the ball back. And played in the channel. Sanchez needs to wait for players to arrive. Now it's played in the box. Parker Roberts was there, but it was headed away by Bernal. Still with it. And what a run that is to earn. Well, it's going to be a goal kick in the end, much to the chagrin of Michelle French, who screams out in frustration. But a great run by Sabrina Flores from her outside back position. Earned what some would think should have been a corner kick for the U.S. Vanessa Flores flings it forward. Natalie Jacobs wins it yet again. She has been a boss on those aerial balls. Hint of handball on Flores. Referee lets it go. Natalie Jacobs. Over for Real. Courtney Peterson. Lets it run out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw in for Crowther. And it's over the head of Real, and Palacios is in, and Real recovers just in time. Palacios still gets to the end line, headed away right before it reached Murphy, and then flicked to the far post, but nobody crashing the back stick for Mexico, and it'll just be a goal kick for the U.S. But Palacios once again ghosting in behind Real, and just couldn't get any purchase on the shot. And now the referee telling Casey Murphy to hurry up. Didn't look to me like she was delaying at all, but just over 25 minutes to go. You wouldn't think that Casey Murphy would start to think about time wasting. Good sliding challenge to knock the ball off of Evelyn Gonzalez. But then the U.S. whistled for a foul in midfield. Mexico, on the majority of these free kicks, have played them into the danger area. No matter how far out they are, as long as they're inside the U.S. half, they try and play to the top of the box and look for a flick on or a knockdown. Same routine, same result. Won by Jacobs once again. Jacobs with a light touch, trying to get it over to that far side, but Mexico will retake in midfield. Sanchez chasing viciously and winning the throw-in. Oh, it went off of her last, so it'll be a throw-in for Jacqueline Rodriguez as she pushes forward. Rodriguez is going to have to come back about 5 to 8 yards to retake it. Make it about 20 yards. She takes it quickly for Vanessa Flores. Flores looking for the run of Evelyn Gonzalez. And she's the recipient of the barge in the back and wins the free kick. Natalie Jacobs didn't think she was at fault. But it's a set piece opportunity in a very dangerous position for the Mexicans. Can they grab the equalizer via the dead ball situation? So Rebecca Bernal over it. Three women in the wall. Murphy stationed right in the middle of her goal. Everybody else is in the back corner of the box on the left-hand side. And now Rodriguez will come and try and run interference along that wall. And here comes the direct shot from Bernal, and Pugh got in the block. And now the U.S. looking to clear their lines. And they could be off to the races, the Stars and Stripes. Screaming for it on this near side was Courtney Peterson. And instead, it's a wayward pass to the far. And coming all the way out of her goal to take it is Stephanie Barreras. And she'll bring it in to pick it up if she desires. So the U.S. had an opportunity, but the move peters out in the 68th minute. Jacobs wins another header, but this time puts it right onto the foot of Evelyn Gonzalez. And more defending for the U.S. to do here. And Jacobs atones for her error. Thrown from Orejel. Bernal. Vanessa Flores. French pleading with Sanchez to pressure high. Har obliges and helps to win the ball back through Peterson. Tremendous skill from Antonio. And Mexico remain on the attack. Screams from Olay coming on the far side. And Har will be whistled for the foul and will be the first player to go into the referee's book as well. So another opportunity for Mexico to play the ball into the melting pot.
Yellow card issued in the 70th minute to Jordan Har of the USA.
It'll be Jacqueline Rodriguez to take. Floats it in toward the back stick. And playing center field and getting hammered in the process is Casey Murphy. As that one played too deep and too close to the keeper. But still, tremendous job to climb the ladder tallest and win that ball. Parker Roberts. Sitting in that holding role. Needs to be careful that the two forwards behind her from Mexico don't try and nick in. but instead gets it to Har. Peterson on the overlap. A marauding run forward from Peterson, and she wins the throw, and is that ball going out just on the wrong side of the flag from a U.S. point of view. As Peterson has come in and has gotten forward at every opportunity. And that one went out of bounds, so it will stay with the U.S. deep in Mexico territory as we're inside the final 20 minutes of the 90. And Mexico are going to make a substitution, and it's going to be Evelyn Gonzalez who leaves us. And Beline Cruz, the 16-year-old who had a goal against China and 2 assists at last summer's U17 World Cup.
Entering the game, number 17, Beline Cruz.
Will come into the midfield.
Number 10, Evelyn Gonzalez.
Roberts brings it down to midfield. Flores, great first touch to open herself up and get it to where she wants out wide. Di Melo tried to slide it through for Sanchez. And tremendous high pressure from the U.S., forcing that ball back to Barreras. And then Hart forcing Barreras to play that right into the knee of Flores. And Michelle French very happy with the high pressure of the U.S. Sanchez and Hart camped out right by the box. Now coming to the end line is Sanchez. Sanchez trying to spin away from a bear hug, leaves it off for Peterson, and the cross can't beat the first defender. Excellent job by the Michigan native to get back and shield that out of bounds. And her reward will be to take the throw-in. Bit of a heavy touch from Pugh. First touch for Beline Cruz, looking forward for Palacios. Peterson first to catch up to the loose ball. Pressure being applied by Crowther. Forces Murphy to play it out wide. Tremendous distribution from the goalkeeper, Murphy. Parker Roberts in the midfield. Skips by Antonio. Slides it forward for DeMelo. Harsh screaming forward on this near side, but instead the ball goes down the other flank. And a good overlapping run. Trying to get to the byline. 2 players to pick out in the box. 3rd and a 4th arriving. And this is better from the U.S. Even if the cross isn't on, they still have numbers around the ball to keep possession. Pugh. Textbook one-on-one defending on the far side from Orejel. Pugh. Had the ball poked away from Vasquez, but wins it back. Pugh looking to get to the end line by herself. Puts it over the head of Barreras, but over the crossbar as well. Vasquez has time to turn and assess her options in midfield. Jacqueline Rodriguez. Vanessa Flores. Jacobs, who's won every single ball that's come her way. And Real had nowhere else to go with it but back to her keeper. 75th minute, and Mallory Pugh's 45th minute strike still holding up as the U.S. have a 1-0 lead in CONCACAF's biggest rivalry. The U.S. looking for their first win in the NTC Invitational and are looking for a second goal to go ahead and kill off this game. So far, the U.S.'s high pressure has not allowed Mexico to really start any attacks. Even though they're trying to be direct Mexico, the U.S. doing a good job to win the ball back either high up or in midfield, just like this. Although that's going to be a heavy kick, and Beline Cruz is down. 16-year-old's a tough customer, looks to be okay. But it's been that pressure from the U.S., which is not allowing Mexico to attack from the back. It's not allowing their defenders to do what they're going to get to do here on a free kick, which is to send the ball deep, looking for their target forwards. The U.S. has kept Mexico from the direct game that they want to play. And it's Jacobs who wins the header again. Might fall kindly at the back post, and doing just enough to put off the shooter was Savannah DeMelo. Nothing to worry Casey Murphy, and it stays 1-0 U.S. The U.S. will finish off the NTC Invitational with Brazil. Mexico will have to play Japan. Japan, the toast of the tournament so far. 2 wins, 7 goals for, and none against. And once again, it's that high pressure from the U.S. quickly closing down, not allowing Mexico to find the feet of their strikers who they like to play off of. Cruz. Looking for the return ball, Cruz. Palacios did well to hold off her defender. Antonio. And there's that ball in that Mexico's been wanting to play all game. And it might work out at the far post. Stellar one-on-one defending by Sabrina Flores. Sonia Vasquez. The ball still back with Pereiras. So I believe on that last challenge, it was Sabrina Flores who kept Monica Flores from scoring for Mexico. So a little sister-sister rivalry and a household divided in Livingston, New Jersey. Nancy Antonio turns. Vasquez lingering on the ball. Flores of the Vanessa variety. Beline Cruz. 16-year-old brings it down and looks to turn. And that's textbook one-on-one defending from Courtney Peterson. Rare miscue from Orejel, but she dispossesses Parker Roberts. Puts in Palacios. Palacios over the goal. And she took an extra touch before shooting, and I think it was just enough to allow the U.S. defense to get back and put her off. That should have been the equalizer for Mexico. As Kelsey Hedge is getting set to check in for the Stars and Stripes. And we take a look at the breakaway, and yeah, that extra touch, that's what allowed that defender to dive in, as it was a great ball from Orejel. And then sliding over and diving in was real. And that's a great play from the center back to make sure that it wasn't a clean shot. Beline Cruz from Acapulco. It was her dream to play for La Tri. And there was a tryout in Mexico City, and her family and friends got together and they raised the funds for her to travel to Mexico City, tried out, made the team, and is now a veteran of the U17 World Cup with a goal and 2 assists, and is playing for the U20s now. As Kelsey Hedge comes on for her second U20 cap, and she replaces Jordan Haar. Kelsey Hedge, the 2013 Idaho Gatorade Player of the Year, has enrolled at Washington but has not played yet. She enrolled so she could play a season of spring ball before starting her freshman season with the Huskies. Pugh steps in and wins it. And a very clever touch on the ground to flick it out wide. Back into the channel for Pugh. Has two players crashing, but Barreras gets there first as the cross was not far enough away from the keeper. Sanchez does a great job to track back into midfield. That ball held up in the wind, but Cruz takes it. And Cruz steps inside. Hedge doing a good job to keep Beline Cruz in front of her. Mexico establishing a little pocket of possession. And right as I say that, Beline Cruz gives it right back to Kelsey Hedge. And good shielding from Nancy Antonio to win the free kick for Mexico. And you get the feeling that if Mexico are going to score, it's going to be off of one of these free kicks. This is when they've gotten the ball deepest into the box, and if they can keep it away from Casey Murphy and Natalie Jacobs, they might be able to get one off the first or second opportunity. As Rodriguez plays this toward the back post, and Crowther got ahead on it, flicked it on, and it will just be a goal kick for the U.S., who escape again in the 82nd minute. The referee keeping a watchful eye on Murphy, making sure that she's jogging back after retrieving the ball. 1-0, the U.S. clinging to that 45th minute strike from Mallory Pugh. U.S. looking for its 4th win of the calendar year. And looking to get it against their favorite opponent as well. Heavy touch from Hedge, and it will just go out for a goal kick. Before the loss to Japan, the U.S. hadn't given up a goal in 277 minutes in 2015. In fact, you had to go all the way back to their 1-1 draw in the quarterfinals of the U20 World Cup, where they ended up losing on penalties to North Korea for the last time that they had conceded before giving up those goals to Japan, looking to get back to keeping clean sheets, the U.S. And they're 7 minutes and change away from doing that here. Not if they give the ball away to the forwards like that, however. But once again, the U.S. getting numbers around the ball quickly, not allowing Mexico to move forward. This is where they need to pressure higher, though, and not allow that ball over the top. But Natalie Jacobs wins net another header. Mexico pushing for the equalizer in the 84th minute. U.S. overtake. Flick through. Well defended. And that one rather played in between Orejel and Bernal. But Bernal's able to get back and win it. Vanessa Flores. Peterson wins the first one right in the path of Natalie Jacobs. Gets it back to Murphy. Crowther closing Murphy down, rather. And Peterson brings it down. Cleared forward, but Sanchez wasn't chasing. Pugh wins the first header over Vasquez, but Vasquez wins the second header over Kerner. Just smashed forward. Savannah De Melo chasing. Still causing problems to Melo, and Sanchez sees an opportunity. Nice turn from Bernal. Lovely little feint to escape the pressure of Ashley Sanchez. Jacobs has been so solid all game long. This one over the head of Pugh. Needs to talk with Roberts, and she does. Kerner might work out for her still. Mistouch from Orejel. And the U.S. win it back on the far side, played into the center. And Sanchez was loitering in the area, but Mexico clear it. That one just a bit overcooked for Pugh, but the U.S. win it back in midfield. Peterson wants it back from Hedge. She's in space, Peterson. Gets inside. Peterson plays it across, and a stooping header to get it clear from Bernal. Referee saying that one hit off the chest of Belen Cruz. Tremendous recovery run from Courtney Peterson, but she slipped, and it's 2-on-1 on this side. This is Crowther, and Real gets back. Great tackle from Real, and the U.S. fans are loving that. Medina throws his arms up in frustration, but he knows that Real got all ball. So you can see Crowther trying to check inside, and a heavy collision, but not before Real got her foot to that ball to send it out of bounds. Will be a corner kick for Mexico, though. 6th of the game. Long arcing ball to the top of the box. All the way out to Orejel on the far side. Tries to put it right back. Only for Palacios. Unable to chip Casey Murphy. So close to the equalizer. And now Martinez getting set to check in for Mexico. As the U.S. clinging to this 1-0 lead in the 87th minute. Can they make Mallory Pugh's 45th minute strike stand? Or better yet, go off and kill this game? Looks like it's going to be more last-ditch defending from Real. Pugh to bring it the other way for the U.S. Over to the far side, Savannah De Melo chasing. And Bernal is over. And then Savannah De Melo brings her down. Bit of a rugby tackle. The Mexican fans don't like that. And here will come the substitution for Mexico. Perhaps one last throw of the dice for Roberto Medina.
Substitution in the 88th minute for Mexico.
As Kiana Palacios will leave.
Katie Martinez leaving the game.
Katie Martinez will come in. And how badly does Palacios want that last opportunity back? She could have been the hero south of the border trying to chip Casey Murphy. Beat the keeper, but beat the crossbar as well. Played into a Stephanie Barreras in the 88th minute. Vanessa Flores. Pressure forcing it back to her keeper. The U.S. have done a tremendous job to keep their shape today, to be compact. Backline has been breached a couple times, but for the most part, they've held their lines well. Can't dive in like that, though. Mexico looking to throw everything at the U.S. in these final moments. But now playing the ball across. Flores knows she has to get it forward. Cruz. Lovely little flick on for Rodriguez. Martinez's first touch, and she kept it in bounds. And Real is over to cover. The center backs have been possibly the best two players on the field for the U.S. today. As Hedge gets it inside for Pugh. Pugh has Sanchez out wide. Also has Kerner, but the offsides flag is up. Into the final minute of the 90. There will definitely be stoppage time at the end of this half, unlike the first half, due to the fact that there were multiple substitutions. And Real is there again. Her and Jacobs have been stellar this afternoon in the center back positions. And this time Peterson, anywhere will do for the U.S. Rodriguez will take the throw-in. Cruz trying to turn, but Peterson was there. And there will be 2 minutes of stoppage time.
The referee has added a minimum of 2 stoppage time to the end of the match.
There might be a little more. Roberto Medina furious that the balls aren't reaching their players quick enough after they go out of bounds. As Kelsey Hedge stepping in. Winning it back is Nancy Antonio. She has it stabbed away. And safety first from Real. Rodriguez, Blinn Cruz. 16-year-old gets it back to Rodriguez. There's that early ball in. The header from Crowther. It's easy for Murphy in the end, who falls on the ball. And you can bet that Casey Murphy is going to take all 6 seconds as she looks for her third shutout of the season. The punt right to Blinn Cruz, but it hits off her hand as we are now 45 seconds deep into stoppage time. Sanchez. U.S. would be wise to get the ball in the corner. Instead, it's played behind Kerner. It's a great job to get back and win the ball. Peterson just plays it down the line. Pugh will try and get there before Flores and hold it up. But the offsides flag is up on the far side. A minute has elapsed. Michelle French at the edge of her technical area screaming everything big, which means Mexico is going to send everything in the air, and you need to send everything right back the other way. And they do that here through Pugh. Pugh just looking to keep the ball, has it nicked off of her. Blinn Cruz trying to play it forward for Martinez, but Real steps in. And she'll just send it all the way back down to Barrera. And with 30 seconds left in stoppage time, the official has called the game, and the U.S. will go on to win 1-0. She called for a minimum of 2. My clock said 91-30. Nevertheless, the U.S. take all 3 points, and out of the 5 games they've played this year, they improved to 4-1 with 4 shutouts on the season, as Mallory Pugh's 45th minute strike was enough to defeat Mexico 1-0, and the U.S. go to 1-1 in the 2015 U20 Women's NTC Invitational, while Mexico fall to 0-2. A reminder to join us again on Saturday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, as first Japan will face off against Japan will face off against Mexico. Japan with a chance to go 3-0. And then at 3:15 Pacific, 6:15 p.m. Eastern, the U.S. will finish off the 2015 U20 Women's NTC Invitational against Brazil. But for now, I'm Mark Serber saying goodnight from Glenn Mooch Marinick Field, where it finishes the U.S. 1, Mexico 0.